So if you've been keeping up with the house of Bdk Parfums, then you probably know that they just came out with a brand new fragrance in 2021. Of course, the creative director is David Benedict. I've done an interview with him. I'm going to leave a card to that up here. But this brand new fragrance is called Velvet Tonka. I think the name does a fantastic job of explaining or sort of connoting what this fragrance is going to smell like. I'm really excited to give you my thoughts on this brand new fragrance by Bdk Parfums, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin my fragrance review of Velvet Tonka by Bdk Parfums, and I tell you all about this fragrance, what kind of vibes I get from it, longevity, performance, smell, all that good stuff, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, if you like fragrance reviews just like this here on YouTube, but also top 10 videos, giveaways, unboxings, and more, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. And of course, if you can take a second, just a second, to give this video a thumbs up if you like this type of content, it would really mean a lot to me. So the perfumer for this one is Alexandra Carlin, and she's a Simrise perfumer. I really hope I have the opportunity to meet her in person one day. She has done fragrances like Honor for Women by Amouage, Beloved for Men by Amouage, Leather Essence by Ferrari, a couple of Ferragamo fragrances. She's done Blood Flower by Parfum Cortana. Very accomplished perfumer. Check out her resume if you have a second. And here we have the newest addition to the Bdk Parfums lineup, and this one is called Velvet Tonka. Now, with Bdk Parfums, I actually have a lot of favorites, and so Citrus Riviera has been one of my favorites for the summer. Ciel d'Argent is also excellent. Rouge Smoking is one of my favorites of all time. Definitely leaning a little bit more towards the colder weather, so autumn and winter. But here we have Velvet Tonka. Now, I love the note of tonka bean, but this one not only has the sweet note of tonka bean, it also has tobacco, vanilla, almond, orange blossom, rose oil, amorous. So it has a combination of really amazing gourmand, decadent notes, and I really think that some of them have quite an interesting personality and add really exemplary flavor to the fragrance. So I'm really excited to give you my in-depth thoughts on this fragrance. Let's start things off with the presentation. So right in the opening of this fragrance, you are going to get this combination of almond and vanilla that just smells so heavenly. And it's funny because I just finished reviewing a fragrance called Baklava, and that also contains almond and vanilla. And that combination always does something for me. You know, it just adds that gourmand, delightful quality to the fragrance. And so this one possesses that. It has that gourmand appeal in the opening, and the almond is certainly noticeable. And it's interesting because I was trying to think of what other gourmand almond fragrances are on the market. And of course, there's Pai by Givenchy, there's Heliotrope by Etro, there's Dulce Aqua by Profumum Roma. And so I'm trying to make comparisons, but I think it's the inclusion of the tobacco and the tonka bean that's really steering this in a completely different direction. And so whenever I think of tonka bean, I know that there are a few varieties on the market. Of course, there's Venezuelan tonka bean, which is used in fragrances like Fève Délicieuse by Christian Dior. It's also used in Tonka by Commodity. So this one actually smells a little different. And in the opening, while it is very flavorful, you have that boozy vanilla because it's a bourbon vanilla, and it has that really decadent, gourmand, sultry, sweet quality about it. That almond is strong enough that you smell it in the opening and it almost gives you like a cherry vibe. And it's interesting because I actually brought this to my friend Gary's house yesterday, and he smelled it and he thought he was picking up on cherry as well. And initially I thought there was a little bit of heliotrope in here, but nope, that sweetness or that spicy accent is coming entirely from the almond. And of course, the tonka bean and vanilla combination is really what's creating that sweet vibe in here. I mean, I really think that people ought to experience this fragrance. It is one of the best from the house of Bdk, and if this is the direction that the brand is going in for future releases, I think they're heading in an amazing direction. I am going to be leaving the links down below if you're interested in discovering this house a little bit more, learning a little bit more about it, or perhaps even discovering other fragrances from the Bdk Parfums lineup. There will be a link down below that you can check out. Not an affiliate link, but just something to get you a little bit more acquainted with the brand. I also mentioned that I'm going to be leaving a card up here to the interview that I did with the creative director, David Benedek, where he talks about the inspiration behind a lot of the fragrances, and this is a Parisian brand, and the symbolism behind the presentation and stuff like that. But this is an awesome fragrance. The tobacco is in there just enough to add a little bit of that classy vibe in the base. The vanilla is there throughout the entire longevity of the perfume. The almond is one of the most flavorful things you can expect in the opening of this fragrance, almost like leaning in the cherry direction. There's like maybe like 5 or 10% powderiness in this fragrance. I think that might be coming from the orange blossom, but nothing super strong where, you know, you feel like it's overly powdery to the point where it smells like a barbershop fragrance. I don't think it's a barbershop fragrance, but it definitely has a combination of orange blossom and rose, but there's way more orange blossom than rose, and so you can expect it to have that bright, slightly sweet citric quality in the opening. Just a very well put together fragrance. Super stoked that I have this one in my collection, and I think the House of BDK is heading in a really awesome direction with this one. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, while I was trying to make comparisons to other vanilla almond fragrances on the market, this one really does go in its own direction with the amyris and the tonka bean, the rose, the orange blossom, the vanilla, a little bit of a spiciness as well. So really unique. I'm personally a fan of it. And in terms of the overall smell, if you're a fan of gourmand fragrances, chances are there's something you're really going to latch onto with this one. Longevity on this one is 10 hours on your skin. It radiated within an arm's length projection-wise for like the first 2 hours of application, and it didn't even start to sit closer to the skin until about that 7-hour mark. So the performance on this one is really amazing. You can't really expect anything more from this one. Really will get you through a work day and then some. In terms of the versatility, I think it's completely unisex. I can see somebody really enjoying this one in a casual setting just because of that sweetness, but there's also enough of uniqueness in this fragrance that you can wear this one dressed up as well. I gotta be honest, I can see myself really enjoying this one in the colder weather, so I'm probably gonna wait until September, October to start wearing this one, but that's only a month or two away, and so I'm going to be enjoying this one on the colder summer evenings. But of course, once the autumn rolls around, I'm going to be wearing this one like it's nobody's business. So really good versatility for this one, but you must be a fan of sweeter perfumes, of course, it goes without saying. And then in terms of the presentation, I do like the look of the bottles, and I also like the way that it looks when you have a few of them lined up. So my final verdict on this fragrance is, look, if you're a fan of gourmand perfumes, if you're a fan of notes like tonka bean, bourbon vanilla, tobacco, almond, you got to check this one out. This is a no-brainer. Such an awesome fragrance. I think the House of Bdk Parfums released a stunning fragrance with Velvet Tonka, and I hope you have the opportunity to try it soon if you haven't tried it yet. I know it's available in several stores at the moment, including independent niche boutiques. Again, links are going to be down below, but highly encourage that you sample this one. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me today. That was my fragrance review of Velvet Tonka by Bdk Parfums. If you own or have tried this fragrance, let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. If you're new to this channel and you took something of value from this video, I would really appreciate it if you would consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. And once again, if you can give this video a thumbs up, it would really mean a lot to me. Thanks again for watching. Love you all. We'll see you soon.